Spacetime Brothers from different mothers. We're searching for Bigfoot under cosmic covers. We're Spacetime Brothers, oh yeah. Circles chasing empty leaves. There's gotta be more to this lonely ride. A new understanding waiting on the other side. With Spacetime Brothers, oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am Ivan T. Sanderson in beautiful Hawaii and thrilled to be hosting a brand new podcast series produced by Placement Publishing. The show is called Spacetime Bigfoot Brothers, of which I am one. This show takes a rare look into the afterlife of Sasquatch investigators. What happens to a person's Sasquatch obsession once they are deceased?
We are Spacetime Brothers, yeah.
Spacetime is an intermediary zone between humanity's reality and the great beyond. In tonight's episode, I'll be interviewing John Bindernagel, a wildlife biologist. Welcome to my office at Placement Publishing. Let's get the show started, shall we? Welcome to the show, John. How are you? And where are you?
Hello, Ivan. I'm doing well. In Bora Bora.
Bora Bora? Now that's exciting.
That's the Western name. The island is actually called Pora Pora, which in Tahitian translates to created by the gods.
I'm in Hawaii, and I'm jealous of you being in Bora Bora.
It's the best surfing I've ever experienced.
And how is bigfooting going for you on a tiny Polynesian island in the South Pacific?
I actually don't know. I'm sure there's something to be studied here. I should be roaming the jungle looking for exotic species.
And why aren't you?
I don't need Sasquatch anymore. Could Sasquatch make an unexpected appearance? Never say never. But I care more about cliff diving and hanging out at the beach and, for what it's worth, working on my tan.
You never witnessed a Sasquatch when you were alive, is that correct?
I've never had a Sasquatch sighting, but I wrote 2 books proposing the existence of Sasquatch.
And you are confident in the data that you have presented?
Yes, but what partly bothered me was that I wasn't challenged on my findings.
Your colleagues were tone deaf to the subject?
I asked my colleagues for constructive feedback and did not receive any.
Why do you think the world of academics has never liked the idea of Sasquatch potentially being a genuine unknown species?
Any kind of science needs a reliable driver. In the case of Sasquatch, it doesn't have to be DNA, but to be convincing, there has to be something tangible that others can evaluate. Where I differ in opinion is that I consider theories to have realistic scientific value. It's not proof positive, we know that.
It sounds like there is a premeditated scientific opinion that whatever evidence is proposed will never be enough to define a new species.
Some people prefer to be critics and consider Sasquatch discussion to be pointless.
How should Bigfoot investigators navigate the need for higher quality evidence?
Look for dots to connect. What I attempted to do in my research was to provide justification of an east-west connection across continents. Some people point to indigenous folklore as the strongest link between East and West.
I would count myself among them.
We need to add science to support the folklore, or it remains as anecdotal as any Bigfoot story. What the scientific record tells us is that we have several plausible migration pathways for people and animals from Asia all the way across the Arctic and down through California. And in prehistory, when the forests and coastline was more accessible to foraging, that would have extended into today's Central America and the Southern Hemisphere per climate conditions in the Pleistocene.
The connection to the Asian mainland is particularly fascinating. Asia, of course, is the gateway to the Middle East, India, Southeast Asia, and, of course, Europe. And, like the Americas, the folklore is extensive in all of these regions, and others, including Africa, Sri Lanka, and throughout the South Pacific, including Australia.
That's what's fascinating, Ivan, is that it's not just a North American Sasquatch. It's a worldwide phenomenon from prehistory.
Discovery of new types of species is not uncommon, but none belonging to a Sasquatch. There are many types of animals which are elusive, and they are eventually discovered. Why aren't there any Sasquatch fossils?
Sasquatch is a different class of beast. If you look at prehistoric bestiaries, it's essentially ancient literature describing mythological beings that have a lot in common with what can be considered cryptozoological beings.
Indeed, the bestiary literature from ancient Western China reflects the very same Sasquatch-like phenomena of the West.
It's not a surprise that ancient indigenous Chinese people's beliefs carried weight through their literature, considering their version of a Sasquatch to be a valid unknown species. Ancient Chinese bestiaries tell us about presumed physical evidence, and even presumed genetic evidence through which they sought to make medicinal elixirs.
How would you summarize your central theory, John?
I'm saying Sasquatch originated somewhere in the East and exploited rich marine life as a sustainable food source during the Pleistocene era and migrated and crossed continents into the West. The Pleistocene was a formative era of Earth history when the Americas were accessible by land. Any bipedal species capable of doing so, like Homo sapiens, followed the logic of living along coastlines to exploit the accessible food sources. What would motivate people and animals and Sasquatch to migrate from Southeast Asia, through mainland Asia, through Beringia into the American continent? There were geologic and climate changes and rising sea levels which forced migratory treks.
We've reached the nexus of our conversation, John. Bluff Creek, California, and the Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967 connect folklore with history. What can you add to the narrative?
Well, I'm convinced Roger Patterson captured a legitimate type of flesh and blood being on film. And this appears to be the same creature that was known from prehistory across Asia and Europe, as first identified by Marie-Jeanne Kaufmann. The West has come to know it as Bigfoot or Sasquatch, but it's the same creature.
We're going to interview Marie-Jeanne Kaufmann on a later show. She's a remarkable woman.
What Marie-Jeanne Kaufmann did that most Sasquatch observers don't do is look at all continents for explanations.
Indeed, it's been wonderful having you as our first guest on the show, Dr. John Bindernagel. Thank you for your Sasquatch insights.
My pleasure, Ivan. Talk to you later. Surf's up.
Ladies and gentlemen, these theories and many other grounded, scientific-inspired analysis that we have discussed this evening is in Hacking Bigfoot, a book by author Marcus Daly. We will continue the discussion next time on the Spacetime Bigfoot Brothers Podcast. Goodbye, everyone.
We are Spacetime Brothers, yeah.